Hello BFs, welcome to my channel. This is Bodfash. Today's tutorial is going to be on how to make a two-piece collar. These collars are usually seen on shirts, jackets, jumpsuits and gowns. These collars are the most reliable for me because they make my work look very neat and professional. With just the basics, which is what I'm going to be teaching you today, you can be very creative with your designs. Now, you'll be needing a garment you are working on or the garment you would like to make the collar for. So what you'll be needing there basically is the neckline, or if you're drafting a pattern and you want to cut a collar for it, you can also go ahead and measure the neckline, which is what I am doing right now. So I just went ahead to fold my back neckline into two. That's each shoulder point meeting each other because I have already drafted this pattern and it's on my channel. And what I got on fold is 4.5 inch, while for the front, starting from the shoulder just before the placket, what I got is 4 inches. That's minus the placket. The placket is going to be 1 inch, so if I join everything, it's going to be 5 inches. But then let me take the back neckline again so you understand. So without it being on fold, since I have made my garment, if you are using your pattern, please just measure it the way it is. But since I have made my dress already, now this back neckline, when I measured it round, I got 9 inches. So I'm going to divide it by 2, which is going to give me 4.5 inches. So this is the pattern paper I'm going to be using with my ruler and a marker. So first of all, I'm drawing a line. This is going to serve as a border line for the back neckline, and then I'm also going to draw a line down, which is going to serve as a border line for where all the patterns will be taken. For the back neckline, our measurement was 4.5 inch, so I'm just going to mark it as you see me do. Afterward, I'll connect the 2 points together. Then I'll go ahead and mark the front neckline, which is 4 inches, starting from the midpoint of the back neckline. So I just went ahead to mark 2 points and I'll connect it. The next thing I'll do is to mark the placket. The placket is 1 inches, so that is what you just saw me doing right now. Then I'll rule a line to connect it. So I'll go back to the back neckline, the border line I drew for the back neckline. I'll go up by 1.5 inches, and then for the midpoint 1.5 inches also. Then I'll connect the 2 dots together. And then for the placket, I'm going to go up by 0.75 inches. Remember, for the back, you just went up by 1.5 inches, but for the front, that's including the placket, I'll go up by 0.75 inches, and then I'll mark. Then I'll now connect that dot to the center back of my pattern, which is what you just saw me do right now. Afterward, I'll start taking the 1.5 inch I took just as the way I did with the back borderline. So that is what I am marking right now. Already you know this line is not going to be a straight line, it's going to be a bit curvy. Reason why I'm going to be using my curve ruler to give it a curvy shape after using my straight ruler. So for the back neckline, that's the borderline, where I started my measurement, I'm going to go by 1 inches. Have that in mind. So for the front placket, this is optional. You could allow yours to be as straight as you want or make it a love shape. I'm going to be using the tip of my curve ruler to give it a nice curve. And then the height I came up by at the back neckline, I'm going to connect it to, that's the first front neckline I marked, not the placket line. I hope you saw what I did. We are done with our collar stand, so now I want to do the collar fly or the collar leaf. I don't know how you know it as. So for the back neckline, I'll come up by 1.75. That's for the height. The next important measurement I'm going to be taking is the collar fall. So here you could be very stylish and creative. If you want it to be chisel like, you go ahead and do that. Just be creative with yours. I'm going to mark 2.5 inch, then I'll connect it to where my finger is directing right now. So I just went ahead to connect this. So I'll go ahead and use my French curve and join the collar tip to the collar height, just the way you see me do right now. You could also use a straight ruler. I don't think it's going to really affect it. So we are actually done with our collar, and it's as simple as that. Please, if you do not understand to this point, please watch the video again, and trust me, you're going to get everything. I'm just labeling everything now. Where I wrote F is going to be on full. I'll go ahead and cut out the collar stand first of all before cutting out the other part of the collar. Now that we are done cutting, these points I'm indicating are going to be joined to each other. So, and I'm going to notch it, so that is why I indicate. When I'm cutting this on my collar stay, I'm going to be cutting it the exact measurement, but when I cut on my fabric, I'm going to be adding half an inch all around it. So I'm going to be using the collar stay. You can either use air stay or hard gum, the choice is yours, but collar stay is just the perfect interface for a collar. So I told you guys initially I was going to notch those midpoint that I marked. So I went ahead to notch them, and now I'm going to open the stay and match it, making sure that the midpoint is matching to the collar. I'll take it to my ironing board and give it a very hot press. I'll do the same for one side of the collar stand. So I'm ironing the stay to just one side of the collar stand and one side of the collar fly or collar leaf. But if your fabric is stretchy, iron the interface to all the pairs. Now I'm just going to take the other part of the collar and sew it round, which is what I am arranging right now. So I'm going to sew it, leaving the lower part open. That's the part I notch. I'm going to leave it open because that part is going to be joined to the collar stand. So let's take it to a sewing machine. So now that I'm done sewing, I'm just going to go ahead and notch and trim off any excesses. Then I'll turn it to the right side, and then tippy part of the collar, I'm going to use a very hard object. In my case, I use a nail to push it out so that it's going to be very pointed. Then I'll take it to my iron and press it with a hot steam. And then now let's introduce our collar stand. Remember the part I notched? I told you that they're going to meet together. So I'm going to take the part of the collar stand that has the interface and align it with the other collar, that's the collar leaf that has interface too. And then I'll put the other part that doesn't have an interface to align with the other part of the collar, and I'll pin all these parts, making sure that the notches are aligning, the sides are aligning, and all the midpoints are aligning. Now let me just flip this over before taking it to my sewing machine so you have an idea of what we are trying to achieve. So by the time you sew it all around, that's inwardly, the outer part of the collar stand will cover the roughness of this collar. As my finger is pointing, I'm just going to sew it using my interface as a guide to sew with half an inch all round through. And don't forget, your allowances are very important. So I added half an inch allowance to the fabric when I was cutting. Once I'm done sewing, when I'm ironing it, as I'm demonstrating right now, I'm going to be folding inward the part that has the interface. So I've gone ahead to sew it. I also ironed it and it's already looking very neat. So from here onward, it's just a straightforward thing. That's to attach the collar to the shirt or the garment that you're working. So what I'm doing right now is this. I'm just going to make sure that the part where I didn't gum the interface is facing the right side of my shirt, just the way I showed you right now, while the part with the interface is going to be on the wrong side of my shirt. So guys, watch carefully. I'll go ahead and pin this all around, then take it to my sewing machine and sew it with half an inch sewing allowance. I'm done sewing the collar to the shirt. As I stated earlier, I sewed the part without the interface to the shirt, that's the right side facing each other, while the part with the interface is going to be inward, and I've already folded in half an inch and iron. So guys, I'm just going to flip it to the other side so you see what I'm saying. Now this is it, and I'm going to I'll put in my hemming gum and then I'll iron it. This way, when you take it to your sewing machine and sew, everything is going to stay put. You won't need to start looking for it to align. And if you are going to have any fold or a bigger collar than your shirt, at this point you're supposed to do all corrections. So guys, I'm just going to give it a nice press before taking it to my sewing machine to top stitch so that it's going to be very firm. And once I'm done with that, I'll come back and show you guys the final result. This is the final look of our shirt. I also went ahead to use my serging machine to serge it, and also use the press buttons for the shirt because I didn't want a visible button. Follow this tutorial step by step and I promise you're going to have the best result, like a very beautiful outcome. And if you find yourself making errors at first attempt, please do not give up. Try again, do all the necessary corrections. Most of this fabric they expand and you might have some errors due to measurements and all of that, but keep trying. By the time you try it 3 times, trust me, you're going to be a master. Thank you so much. If you watched to this point, please give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends and family if you found it valuable, and most importantly, please subscribe to my channel. This is a way of supporting me and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Till our next video, do have a blessed day wherever you are.